Hey, this one's for anyone who's feeling stuck in their job and they're not sure how to make their side hustle work to earn enough money so that they can quit and be their own boss. My name's David Lecco, and this is the podcast for 10Xing your income and replacing your W-2 with wholesaling real estate. And today, I actually asked a member of the DealMachine community Facebook group who feels stuck. And we talked to Pallie, a custodian in Miami, who had been wholesaling for 3 months, hadn't got any deals yet, and he was actually reaching out to a lot of different markets because he thought his own market in Miami was too expensive. But we set him on a path that's going to be more focused going forward so that he can get results faster. This is the podcast, like I said, for 10Xing your income. I created this process that's helped 10,000 people close deals in all 50 states with a software platform called DealMachine. And my co-host of the podcast has actually done 425 wholesale real estate deals, Ryan Haywood in St. Joseph, Missouri. And he got his start back in 2019 when his boss actually cut his commissions in his sales job. He was fed up. So he decided to take a 30-day wholesaling challenge, made his first deal in 14 days, making $8,500.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, man.
All right, man. Well, I hear you're working on wholesaling real estate and you feel stuck. Tell us about why you decided to get into wholesaling real estate, and then we'll get into what happened. What's going on?
Basically, just from the videos I've been watching, I see it's a great opportunity to make a lot of money. You know, have your own hours, be your own boss, and yeah, that's basically why I was trying to get into it.
Totally. And where are you working right now?
I'm a custodian right now.
You're
Can you hear me? I'm sorry, can you hear me?
I can hear you. It broke up a couple times, and I just didn't hear what you said, what you were doing right now.
Oh no, I'm a custodian.
Oh, you're a custodian. Okay, gotcha. All right. So have you tried anything related to wholesaling yet?
No, my wife, she was a real estate agent, but she ended up quitting that. So yeah, I've just been trying to do this basically for the past couple months.
Okay, so your mom's a real estate agent. How do you find out about wholesaling?
Rick Ginn and Zach Ginn, watching a lot of their YouTube videos. Also, Brent Daniels, I was watching some of his content as well.
Okay, gotcha. So have you like reached out to any homeowners yet?
Yes, I left my job last year in August, and I was trying to do the wholesale on my own. Made a lot of mistakes, did a bunch of calls. I was talking to Ryan. He knows me pretty well because I was on his I'm reaching out for him for a long time, so he knows my name. So I've made a lot of cold calls. No, not him.
He been reaching out to you?
No. Yeah, not him.
Oh, the other Ryan.
Yes.
Ryan Hewitt.
Yeah, the one with the glasses, yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, so break it down for me. You said you made a lot of cold calls. Who did you call? And how many?
Initially, I was only getting maybe 20 to maybe 30 calls every 2 hours, trying to, dial it on my own. And then I found out the Mojo dialer, and I started using that for maybe a couple weeks. So, basically the areas I was looking in was Texas, Miami, Florida, Jacksonville, Tallahassee, a couple of cities in California, just, trying to...
Where do you live yourself?
Miami, Florida.
Where do you live?
Miami, Florida.
Where?
Miami.
Oh, Miami. Okay. Well, how come you're doing all these other places?
Just trying to get anything. I mean, as far as Miami, it's really hard. The market is really tough, and I just thought I'd try different states and cities.
Okay. I could believe that. Miami might be hard and competitive, but there's a whole lot of other cities in Florida that might be good. I mean, I'd honestly pick a place rather than do random places all the time, personally.
Yeah, really try to dig in deep within one community instead of spreading it. What you're really doing, let's say you have 10 hours in the day, but you only spend 2 hours in each one of these things. That's really not enough time to be effective. You need to put all of your time and energy into one area and you need to get the process of wholesaling established before you try to spread out and go to a bunch of different markets. Once you get some traction and momentum built up in one area, whether that's through marketing or once you've cold called that list multiple times, then, and even after you've gotten several deals in that area, then you can maybe start considering going into another area. But I would pick one town.
Brother, you just kind of have to learn the city, every new city that you do a deal in. Because there's after repair values you could calculate
Different everywhere.
that kind of change even block to block. So it's really not making it easier on yourself if you're going to have to do a new deal and talk with a new seller in a new city every time. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Hey guys, if you know you want to quit your job in the next 3 months, make sure you're subscribed to this podcast because we've got some incredible frameworks with step-by-step instruction that you're not going to want to miss. Also, leave us a rating and review to let us know your favorite parts and why you want to get financial freedom.
So where do you think would be the right place to focus on, if not Miami?
Honestly, I have no idea. Like I said, I was just basically trying anywhere I possibly can just to get the deal, just to, see how the process is. I've even tried Atlanta, Georgia. So, I mean, I know I have to do more research, basically to see, what's a good fit as far as, get my first wholesale deal.
So when you said you tried Miami, Florida, I'm sorry, you said Atlanta, Georgia. Like you probably mean like you spent a couple days and made some cold calls there, right? Didn't get any deals.
Yes.
Yeah, just because I just want to clarify, just because doing the first deal is hard, right? Because you haven't done the process before. So just because you made some calls in Miami, it doesn't mean that Miami doesn't work. You probably just didn't do enough calls in Miami, and then you moved on to another place, and then you thought that also didn't work. So moving from city to city isn't going to really solve it. I think you just need to make more phone calls in the city that you're in. Because you can wholesale anywhere. It's just like a business model for a pawn shop. You can, there's always people everywhere who just want to get rid of their stuff for one reason or another. They know they're not getting the top dollar, but they bring their stuff to the pawn shop because they just want to get rid of it. They just want to get the cash quickly, and then they want to move on with their lives. So that happens in Miami, maybe not right in the heart of Miami where they're, $1 million homes, but maybe there's outskirts of Miami and surrounding areas. That's probably a better place for you to target. So I would target people that have, maybe 40 minutes outside of Miami, and you could do tax delinquent properties, for example. Now, there's a motivation there because they haven't paid their taxes. Something's wrong. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
And then you get the added benefit of that now that they're close, you can actually go drive and meet them in person, which just gives you an advantage if you can do that.
Okay. Yeah, I've tried to do, I did a couple calls with foreclosures because I was watching Rick Ginn's videos and he was like, try to get it within the first 3 months because after that it's pretty much difficult, as far as foreclosure. So I'm gonna try back again this weekend. I know they said I have to do at least 5 hours.
Couple calls?
Yes.
Yeah. You just made 2 calls?
Yeah. Like I said, I wasn't putting the time in I needed, so I know that was also a big problem as well because it's, very time consuming.
Right.
So,
hey, just to set your expectation right, you probably need to do 1,000 calls.
3,000 cold calls a month, and that's single dialing. I don't know what you've got set up on Mojo, but
yeah, you probably don't even need anything
you don't really need Mojo Dialer right now. I think you just need to dial one number at a time and go that route.
Okay.
I think that you're
Pallie, I think you have doubt that it will work or doubt that you can do it. Is that accurate, you think?
Initially, yes. My biggest thing was fear. I did a couple of the driving for dollars. I found a couple of properties. I almost had one deal, but I messed up on it. I really didn't know what to say and during the conversation, so I ended up messing up that deal. So yeah, initially it was fear, and I'm gonna take your advice and go back and target my area.
Target your area and start doing. Don't be so diversified. Focus on cold calling and do a ton of cold calling before you start picking up other methods of marketing. And like even driving for dollars. I love driving for dollars, but if you're not able to focus all of your attention on one thing, you're not going to get the results from it. And you can't really move forward in the wholesale game until you get results. So I would just scale it all back. Get back to like a very, very beginner level, which is where you're at. But I think you're trying to get out to what other people are doing, and you're spreading your marketing efforts out way too thin. It's watered down so much that you're not able to get any traction off of it. So pick one medium of marketing, whether that's cold calling or driving for dollars, and stick with it until you get some traction.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's actually the moral of the story is like switching things seems like the right thing to do when you're not getting results, but really sticking with cold calling. This is a proven business model. It's not like it's a if, it's just a when. If you continue cold calling people who have not paid their taxes or people who are in pre-foreclosure or people who have rundown houses, you will absolutely find somebody who wants to sell their house, and it will be the easiest deal ever because they'll just ask you to come buy their house. Yep. It's been my experience. What did you say? You said you messed up the deal because you didn't know what to say. What do you feel like you said that messed up a deal?
Just being nervous, not knowing how to keep the person talking, trying to get information out of them, trying to make them make the offer instead of me making the offer.
Okay, I think that you may be nervous. You want to try to get them to make an offer. Yeah, so what do you ask if you're like, hey, do you have a ballpark for...
I just simply ask them, do you have an idea of what you're wanting for the property? And then your next hurdle is going to be, well, I was hoping you would tell me how much you would pay. So in that case, that opens up, now you need to know how to run the formula. You need to know how to estimate some rough rehab numbers, and you need to know what your ARVs are. So there may be a little bit of like preparation that you could do before you get on the call just to make sure that your confidence is supported.
Pallie, let me know if this makes sense, okay? Because when I was first starting, I had the same fears that you did. I didn't know what I was going to offer. I didn't know how to keep him talking. I certainly didn't know how to get him to tell me what he'd sell it for. So I just focused on the next step. When he called in, the next step was to set the time appointment to meet him at his house. So then when I showed up, I didn't know what to say. So I said, well, the next step is, why don't you tell me about your situation and why you're trying to sell it? And then he told me he was trying to move into an assisted living center. And then I was like, oh, okay, cool. And I said, can I take photos of the house while you're telling me that? He said, yeah. And then when he stopped talking, then I would just ask him another question, be like, oh, hey, this part of the house looks different than that. Was there something that happened there? And that's how you keep him talking. You don't need to keep him talking, but if you're just like afraid of dead space, be a curious person, ask questions, and focus on the next step. So set the appointment, take photos of their house. Then he's like, well, what would you offer on this property? I said, I don't know. I'll get back to you in 24 hours. So I went home, looked at all the pictures I had. Then I looked at Zillow, see recently sold homes. And then I started to try to put together what I thought would be a good price based on the recently sold homes and how much work I thought it needed. Then I called him back with the price. And it could be uncomfortable for you, but you do have to do it. And if they say no, no big deal. Just move on to the next house, which you already have lined up because you're making 1,000 cold calls. It makes sense. You have all the power when you're doing all that volume because you know there's going to be another one that will eventually end up accepting whatever your offer is.
Yeah, so that makes a lot of sense.
Cool. What was your top takeaway from this conversation?
For me, I would say definitely the confidence level, and
you don't have to know all the answers. You don't have to pretend to know all the answers. I didn't know how much I was going to offer on the house. I said I don't know, but I'll get back with you in 24 hours.
Yeah,
Makes it easier, right?
yeah. That to me, that definitely is the biggest thing I would take away from this conversation that I've learned.
Beautiful. Well, Pallie, try to put that into implementation. I know you said you got 5 hours this weekend. You're going to cold call. Why don't you text me back after you do that and let me know how it went?
Thanks for listening to the DealMachine Real Estate Investing Podcast. Please leave us a review and follow along wherever you're listening to your podcast.